Welcome to Zoo Tours, where I cover the history, details, and of course, the animals of every zoo exhibit I come across. Pack your bags because I'm taking you out of the Steel City and we're going around the world to the regions of East Africa, where we will encounter some of the world's star creatures. This is the second edition of Journey to the Steel City, and episode 3 of my new series, the African Savanna attraction of the Pittsburgh Zoo. Like always, I'll go over the brief history of this area, give you an up-close tour, and in the meantime, you'll meet some awesome animals along the way. Like the Asian forest, now called Forest Passage, the African Savanna was part of the zoo's master plan of 1980. It was completed in 1987, and the main idea was to give guests the impression that they are following along a windy river and coming across African animals right on the other side. It is still the largest attraction at the zoo. As far as I am aware, not a whole lot has changed since then. However, a couple of interesting events have occurred within this area. So put on your safari hats, get out your cameras, and let's start. We'll actually begin in our previous spot where we left off, in the heart of the Forest Passage exhibit. We immediately come across a very large animal, but first, I'd like to mention that this ditch in front of us used to contain a dwarf crocodile, but the main attraction is beyond it. The eastern black rhinoceros, Jomo, Azizi, the adults, and their unnamed female calf. No, this is not them. This is Saya with her calf Kendi at the Cincinnati Zoo. At this angle, I was not able to see Pittsburgh's rhinos, but with both places having rhino babies, you would see something like that. So here's a look at the exhibit, and I promise that we will run into them later. When Africa comes to mind, you think about African animals, of course, but not necessarily here. In the next exhibit lives the Caribbean, or the American flamingo. The zoo has 10, but with them, although I did not see it, also lives a sacred ibis, an animal that at least continues the African theme. They live in a nice, lush, open-topped wetlands habitat. Continuing through the middle of the Forest Passage, we come across a famous cat, the African lion. The zoo is home to two males that live together in their own bachelor group, Ajani and Razi, brothers who came to the zoo in 2011. The zoo is also home to a separate, elderly individual, a female named Katie. She is kept apart from the males due to the possibility that they wouldn't all get along. Their exhibit is quite large, sizing at 12,750 square feet, ranking it approximately the 8th largest lion exhibit in the US. But unlike many, it is oddly steep. It also offers guests multiple open and glass viewings. That does it for the first area of the African Savanna, and you are led up the path for a somewhat lengthy walk to the beginning of the open grassland exhibits. This is the first of the 3, and it contains 3 species. There are ostriches, gazelles, and newly arrived lowland nyalas, who were not on display at this time. This, along with the next 2 exhibits, offers the idea of immersion where guests follow the flow of an African river. Connected to them are a few giants. You are led to a hut and are given a view of the hoofstock once more. And the view from right to left transitions into another large vista. This is the Saba Elephant Reserve, where you'd find their African bush elephants. The zoo is home to 5 females: Natasha, who came in 1982, Savanna in 1992. The other 3, Victoria, Angeline, and Zuri, were born at the zoo. Victoria was born in 1999, and both Angeline and Zuri were born in 2008. This is one of the most lively group of elephants that I've ever seen, and they have a wonderful habitat. It is one 24,000 square foot yard that offers this panoramic view. and from here you can even see the animals that live behind them. Connected to them is the Elephant Care Center, where you can get a look at their multiple indoor exhibits. Going around the other side of the Care Center, for around $10, any guest has the opportunity to do this: an up-close encounter with one of their elephants. When it's your turn, you are brought as close as possible to the land's largest animal, so close that you're even allowed to pet them. Next up is the last of the 3 large savannas, and where the river comes to an end. This is a 25,000 square foot yard for, as you probably already saw, Grant zebras and Maasai giraffes. They can be viewed from multiple areas, and due to the openness of the habitat, the animals can be seen from many distances. The zoo's giraffes, Lewis and Socks, are both males, and living with them is Spencer and Penelope, the zebras. Coming up is the last animal we haven't touched up on in the African savanna. This area was once home to African painted dogs, but today you'd see 2 male cheetahs, Frankie and Andy. Now here's an interesting story. When the dogs were around, one of the viewing areas used to be a hut overlooking part of the exhibit. If you haven't heard by now, in 2012, a mother dropped her 2-year-old son into the exhibit, and the toddler was fatally attacked by 11 painted dogs. Unfortunately, one of the dogs was shot and killed in the process, and the species was phased out of the Pittsburgh Zoo soon after the incident. More about the story can be read online. Near the top of the entire zoo is the African Overlook, where you can get a final closer look at the cheetahs through glass. And the finale of the African savanna is a far overlooked view of the black rhinos one last time. And on that note, that is the last of the savanna. I hope you enjoyed the first African experience from my new series, which I also hope you've enjoyed so far. Next time we meet, we're actually staying right here. Sort of. So see you then. Before you go, please be sure to check out my website in the link below. You can find my greatest work on my online store, and I offer prints at any request for low prices. Details and further information came from Pittsburgh Zoo videos, so please head on over to their page and subscribe to see zoo tours as well. This is your guide, Zachary Handel, signing out. And if you want more, then check out many of my other zoo tours. Have a nice day.